Monash University has withdrawn the order to acknowledge country in assignments in this instance. But you can be assured that this does not mean the university dons have learned a lesson from this. Which brings me back to 1984.
Do you remember writing in your diary, freedom is the freedom to say 2 + 2 = 4?
Yes.
How many fingers am I holding up, Winston?
The correct answer is, of course, 4. Winston is eventually forced to not only say the answer is 5, but believe it. Where Orwell got it wrong was that there are subtler ways of making people deny reality. Torture's a bit gauche, you see, and not very intellectually challenging, especially for university boffins. The British edition of The Spectator magazine reports that there is now pressure for universities to teach a, quote, decolonised version of mathematics. King's College mathematician John Armstrong says this pressure is coming from people who think that Europeans, as well as colonising the world geographically, colonised thought as well. Or, to put it another way, they created a, quote, European paradigm of rational knowledge, unquote. Well, there are two things to say about this. Firstly, Europeans have never claimed a monopoly on rational knowledge. As Armstrong says, quote, there is nothing particularly European about rational knowledge. Maths has always been an astonishingly international pursuit. And second, even if rational thought was solely European, it would still not degenerate into dogma. It was curiosity, not the desire to colonise, that drove Europeans to explore the world in the first place. That curiosity remains central to our culture. Although not so much in our education system, which is more focused on forcing students to accept a dreary interpretation of our history as nothing but oppression of noble savagery, bulldozing sacred sites to build Westfield shopping centres and shoving plastic straws up the noses of turtles. Teaching this rubbish at tertiary level is bad enough, but at least students in their late teens and early 20s can, with a bit of resolve, resist the indoctrination. But at primary school level, it goes beyond cynical into the realm of sinister. Today, the Spectator Australia website published a piece by an anonymous 13-year-old student describing the heartbreakingly racist way some of her peers are being taught to see others. Alexandra Marshall, who you'll know as a regular guest on this show, also edits that website, and she confirmed to me the letter was authentic, even if it had been lightly edited by her mother. So the letter says, quote, when I was younger, teachers guilted me because of my skin colour, making me think it was my fault that half-blooded Aboriginals were taken from their families. I cried and felt ashamed to be who I am. This year, when I entered Year 7, I met this girl whose grandmother is half Aboriginal and looked similar to me. She called me European and excluded me by saying hurtful comments about European people, followed by, no offence, I felt hurt. Why are these divisions encouraged at every level of our education system? Well, they are encouraged because that's what Marxists do. They pretend they're breaking down centuries of oppressive hierarchies in order to create more equal ones. You don't have to study history at university to know where that leads to.